What's up, everyone? So today we're going to talk about leaving money on the table. I never, ever leave money on the table. I don't care if I'm representing the buyer. I don't care if I'm representing the seller. I don't care if it's a development. I don't care what it is. I never leave money on the table. If I'm representing a buyer, I always tell the buyer, why not just ask? What's the worst thing that you can do is ask, right? So let me give you a scenario. Okay, let's say I'm representing a buyer and there's multiple offers. There's 10 offers on a specific home, right? Obviously, you can't ask for a whole lot. There's 10 offers, right? But you can call that agent. You can say, look, this is Nate with Luxury Estates International, Coldwell Banker West in San Diego, blah, blah, blah. They should know you as an agent that it doesn't hurt to ask, right? You don't know what those other offers are. They could be an investment property and they're way below list price. Worst thing you can do is just not ask. Closed mouths don't get fed. You have to ask, right? So let's say I represent a buyer. There's 10 offers on a particular house, and I call and say, hey, what's up, Mark? Listing agent Mark, what's going on with this house? Oh man, we're listed at 400 and we're at 420 and blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. So now you know you gotta be 420, you gotta be super aggressive, blah, blah, blah. But what happens if it's fucking dumb and it's 400,000 and the highest offer is 370? You don't know until you ask, right? So you could easily say, hey, we'll give you 390, we need 10K back in closing costs. Are you okay with that? They're gonna go, yes, it's way better than everything else. But a lot of new agents just, they're so timid to ask, that they think, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? They need that money, so they need that commission so bad. They don't wanna ask. They just more looking out for themselves than looking out for their client. That's really important to not leave money on the table and not feel desperate that you have to close that deal, because that's how you're gonna eat, right? That's why it's extremely important, buyers and sellers, make sure you get an agent that doesn't need that one commission. Make sure you get an agent that's like, okay, this isn't gonna work for you. Make sure you get an agent that says, this isn't gonna work for you, let's move on to the next one. Because you have to look out for what's best for your buyer or your seller, right? So you never wanna leave money on the table. That's from a buyer standpoint. You have to at least ask and see what you can get back. Even if it's anything, even if it's some landscaping credit or paint credit or carpet or whatever that is, right? Now let's talk about leaving money on the table from a seller's perspective. When 90% of my business is listings. Straight up, that's what it is. 90% is listings, right? I never leave money on the table, right? If a buyer comes in low, I'm always telling my seller, let's see how far we can push them up, The fact that they made an offer means that they're interested. Nobody is gonna go see a property, write an offer, and they're not serious about wanting that property. They may be nonchalant and have the best poker face in the world and just be like, yeah, it's okay, we can do without it, blah, 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 blah. But the point is you wrote that offer. So you're clearly interested. Doesn't matter what you say or what your agent says, you're clearly interested, right? So as a listing agent, I'm never leaving money on the table with my seller. Hey, we're gonna list it at this. We're gonna get a lot of offers, blah, 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 blah. Let's see how high we can get these buyers up and see if we can have them battle against each other to get that price up, right? So those are a couple examples of not leaving money on the table. It's really important because once you sell that property, whether it's a piece of land, multifamily, warehouse, whatever it is, you can't go back and do it again, right? So you have to do everything you can for your buyer or your seller or your developer and try and get as much money as possible and not leave any money on the table. So I hope this helps you guys in your journey of representing clients in real estate. And remember, it's your job to do everything you can to get as much money for them as possible and not leave money on the table. Now, I've had situations where, buyers and sellers are like, just get it done. Like, I just want it done. I don't care. I just want to get it done. Of course, you got to do what's best for them, right? Or what they're requesting. But most of the time, I'm like, hey, I know you're okay with this, but let me try and just get just a little bit more, right? 99% of the time, they're going to say yes. And 99% of the time, I get a little bit more, right? And then they're happier. So anyways, I hope this helps you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.